In 2010 and 11, we had some of the most devastating floods in the history of Pakistan in two different provinces of Pakistan, one in the north, one in the south, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Sindh province. And we had 3,000 people losing lives. We had almost 20%, which is a little, about 10% of our population. They were affected, they were dislocated, some were homeless. And what was the cost to the economy? A whopping $16 billion of that one incident, which is one of the consequences of climate change. So we are the biggest victims, and these are documented facts. South Asia is one of the biggest victims. It's 1/5 of humanity resides here. You have an island like Maldives, which can be submerged underwater or cease to exist if the temperature rises 1.5 or 2% in terms of Celsius in the next 30, 40, 50 years. And that's why they had a cabinet meeting underwater. And Nepal is a landlocked country up in the Himalayas. And they had a meeting up in the Himalayas because of the melting of the glaciers can affect the livelihood of people. So I think there should be a collective response. Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, Maldives, and I would like to include in that China, Iran and Afghanistan also, because it's a greater South Asia. So we should start with I would say start with Siachen. We have the armies facing each other. Why don't we withdraw simultaneously? We demilitarize Siachen Glacier and make it into a peace park, a symbol of peace, harmony and cooperation to protect the climate of that area, for example. So that's low-hanging fruit. And there can be other initiatives. The smog, which is in Delhi, is also in Lahore. And you will see in December what will happen. Flights are cancelled, there are accidents, people have infectious diseases, chest pains, and difficulty going to school, the children particularly. So these are, climate change has no boundaries or borders. No borders, so let's do that. The current government is making a lot of hype about only one issue, which is tsunami or trees or whatever. For example, I was listening to speeches about the 100-day performance of the government. There was not a single reference that I can recall to climate change. So it was conspicuous by its absence. So that shows a priority, and I hope that this is an issue above party, above government. It's a national issue, it's a people's issue. So we would like to give full support to any initiative from any quarter, including the government, to preserve and protect Pakistan's climate and mitigate the consequences of climate change for our people. Yesterday we had called a meeting of the Ministry of Climate Change, and we were told that the Pakistan delegation will be led by the advisor to the Prime Minister on climate change, and will include a gentleman by the name of Mr. Tariq Irfan, who is Director General Environment and Climate Change in the Ministry of Climate Change. So I had a talk with him, and I said there will be a lot of civil society and NGO organizations. Please have participation in those side events also, because some of the best events come there, because one of the groups, Renovation Hub from China, approached us and they said we want Pakistani representation there. And that's why, as I mentioned, we are going to have an event in Islamabad, inshallah, in March, and then another one in Beijing, a more regional one. Thank you.